Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, hi. So I know my hair is a mess, I look a mess, but it's okay. So I just want to talk about some drama because it's annoying and it's been going on for far too freaking long, and there's really no reason for it. I shouldn't have to deal with all of this drama. No one should. But so we have this problem with the neighbor. I'm not gonna name any names or anything because I'm not trying to get like in trouble by YouTube or something. But so in my family we don't really like cops at all. And we never have. There is a big difference between a police officer and a cop. Police officers we support, cops we don't. And there's a difference. I'll explain that later in a different video probably. But basically our neighbor I don't even know where to begin. So like 2 years ago, just about 2 years ago, they moved in and we've lived here for 20 years. Like over 20 years. It's like 25 years now that we lived here. And since 97. And our neighbor, I got a hair in my mouth, started having like parties and stuff, which was fine because we don't really care. But like we went over there and asked them to turn it down a little bit because it was like loud, like it was shaking my bedroom loud, like their bass from the music, which we don't care because we love music over here obviously. But we're like, can you just, like, we were polite about it, we were like, can you turn it down please? And by like the 8th party that we asked them to turn it down, my dad finally got sick of it and decided to call the cops and like make a noise complaint because these people are just so freaking loud. They're yelling and screaming at 3 in the morning, driving drunk. And I'm trying to go to bed. This was in like school time and I was 15 at the time trying to go to bed. So I'm like dead tired during school. I can't function. And these people just keep on going throughout the night. And so we finally got sick of it and called the cops. And that made them stop for like 3 days. And then it was an every night thing. And they just kept going and kept going and kept going. And eventually, it was like the cops were out every night. And I could barely go to school because I was so tired. Or because when I get tired, I get anxiety. And so I couldn't go to school because I was either too tired to function or I was having anxiety or a migraine because I get migraines and anxiety when I get too tired. And this is like 6 months into this whole problem. And we buy this rock. We've got like a big dispute with the neighbor about whose property is whose. Excuse me, we've lived here for 20 something years. 23 years. And you want to tell us that 3 feet of our property is yours? And so we got a property line, like, Oakland County came out and did a property thing where they checked your property and told you where your property was and their property was. We have the paper for that. Well, the cops told him to get a property paper, and so he supposedly went and got one from somewhere, and it said that he owns 10 inches of ours, but ours say, or something like that, I don't know what his says, something like that, but ours says he owns some, or we own some of his. And it's all so confusing. And then so we put a rock because he was driving his truck through our yard and messing up our grass and our flowers and everything. And so we put a fence up. That was what happened first. We put a fence up. And he decides to drive over this thing with this big truck that he revs at like 3 in the morning. And it's just to piss us off too. It's not for any good reason. It's just to piss us off. And he drove over our fence and then he decided to steal a couple of our posts and then like kick the fence over while he was standing in our property, and the cops didn't do anything about it. They were like, well, we didn't see it happen. Even though we got it on tape, we didn't see it happen. We weren't there when it happened. So we can't do anything about it. It's like, no, this should be a criminal issue because trespassing. And then he's got like 8 people staying there as of right now, like 8 people just living there. Like he's a tenant or something. Or is that the other way around? Okay, a landlord and tenant. Okay. So like one of his friends was drunk as heck. It was like 2 in the morning, probably like 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning. And he's banging on my window, my bedroom window. I was 15 years old at the time, and he's banging on my window on a school night. And he was yelling out, like, profanities and stuff. I don't even remember what he was saying, but it's all on tape. And I don't know what he thought that was a good idea for, but we called the cops over, and they're like, yeah, we can't do anything about that either. I'm like, so you can't get him for harassment? Because, like I said a couple times, I was a 15-year-old girl. Like, come on. And this guy would just not stop. Like, the cops wouldn't do anything about it. They didn't even... The only thing they did was go over there and tell him that he couldn't play music anymore. Or that he couldn't, obviously, come in my window. And... So now it's a criminal thing because he stole our rock. It was stupid, but we had this boulder, like, it was a big boulder. It was like 200 pounds. Or 1,500 pounds or something, I don't remember. I just know it was a big boulder, and we put it on our property line so that he would stop driving, because he already ran over like 2 or 3 fences at this point. So we're like, alright, fuck it, we're just gonna buy a rock and put it there so maybe he'll stop, because you can't drive over a rock that big. You're gonna break your truck or flip it, one of the two. And he has one of his friends hook the rock up and pull it into his yard from ours, and this stupid person, I'm trying not to swear, but this stupid person writes his address on the boulder, and just to piss us off. And oh my god. And then my grandma has a garden in the back, and she you know, obviously grows flowers and stuff. Well, it's like right on our line, right on the property lot. And we have a fence in the backyard, which, by the way, he cut trying to let my dog out. I have a little Papillon, about a 20-pound dog, and he cut a hole in the fence just big enough to let him out. And so we patched that, and then the cops were like, they said something about that. I think they tried to do something about that. I don't remember. Excuse me. And then they were just like, but with the flowers in the garden and everything, he had Roundup, and he was like spraying it on our flowers. And I was like, and this is all on camera. Everything that's ever happened with this guy has been on camera. And the cops still don't do anything about it. The courts don't do anything about it. Nothing is being done about it. And it's getting to the point where we're just like, well, we're never going to quit, because I'm not just going to let this guy push us around and out of our house. You know what I mean? Like, you moved in here 2 years ago. We've been here for 20. Who wins? And, like, we're a family here, and he's got random people staying there. He's drunk driving with his children, his little children. I'm like, and these aren't like grown, like they're not like 16, 17, they're like children, like young, like 4 or 5. The youngest one I've seen over there, I think, was like 2. And he was still drunk driving with them, and it's like, how are you gonna do that and not get in any trouble for it? And then why do we have to put up with it? It's not okay. And it's like, all of this stuff is going on, and then some, because you're like, well, now I have to deal with court fees, lawyer fees, you know, people. And that's why I had to drop out of school, because I was too tired to function. I couldn't be there physically because I couldn't be there mentally. Like, I couldn't focus. I couldn't do anything. And so any of you that went to my school, that's why I dropped out, by the way, because of this mother fear. And I couldn't, like, function, so now I stay up until he stops revving the truck. And we just barely bother to call the cops anymore. And, like, the other day, I had a friend over. We had 2 friends over. Me and Noah had, like, 2 friends over. And it's, like, 5 in the morning, and we were just about to go to sleep. And sorry for my language, but we hear, "Fuck you, you stupid cunt." And we were like, and the next door neighbor, this girl was trying to come into our yard, and well, he knew better, and he stopped her. And it was just like, oh my god. And then the power went out right after that, so we were like, but, and then another thing that's gone on in the past is, like, I'll be walking, like, taking the trash out or something, or, like, bringing the cans back in, and he'll be like, "Bitch," or "hoe," or "slut," or something like that, just yelling at me. And I'm like, are you serious? Like, you're a grown-ass adult. I'm 16. Come on. Grow up. And then he'll be saying stuff like to my dad, like, come out here, I'm gonna beat your fucking ass. I'm like, that's gonna be a funny fight. Like, that's not gonna happen, sorry. But we have a court order not to speak to them, and, like, I can't have any contact, we can't have any contact with them, any of us can't. And they can't have contact with us. But they still do it, and they don't get in trouble for it. But my dad's on probation? Oh. I have 5 minutes left that I can film because they'll only let me post 15-minute videos. But, so my dad's on probation because they had a malicious destruction of property because he put nails on our yard. So maybe the neighbor would stop driving through. And the neighbor calls the cops and's like, he put nails in my driveway. No, they were in our yard. And then the second time that happened, I recorded him laying the nails out. Not my dad, the neighbor. Putting the nails out. And then as soon as he realized that I was standing there, he starts kicking the shovel and taking them back. I'm like, that's what I thought. And it's just like this whole big thing that didn't need to freaking happen. And that's why I don't like police. That's why I don't like the system. That's why I don't like people in general, because shit like this happens to people all the time. But no one's speaking up. So I will. If no one else will, I will, because there's no reason for it. There's no reason to be pushed around by someone who thinks they're bigger than you or better than you because they have a better car than you or more money or something. And it's just ridiculous. But yeah, that was my little rant. 11-minute rant, my bad. But no, it needed to be heard. And there's probably more that I'm missing, and I'll probably make a part 2 to this. I'll make videos until it stops. I'll make videos until this stops. Because obviously the courts aren't doing anything about it, so maybe this will.